Hey Rebels, welcome back to the channel. There's a quiet capital rotation happening in the crypto market right now that many will be unaware of until it's too late. The charts are showing us two hidden divergences right now, the same two that kicked off the 2021 bear market and cost me thousands of dollars. In this video, I want to break down these two hidden divergences as well, show you how to prepare yourself and remain profitable when the odds are 50-50. If that sounds good, please like and subscribe and let's dive into the charts. So what I have here in front of me is a price chart of Bitcoin as well as the USDT dominance. If you're unaware, the USDT dominance is a chart showing the dominance of the stablecoins. And typically these are inversely correlated. So when you see Bitcoin's price going down, you will see the USDT dominance going up, showing us that dollars are going from crypto into the dollar. And then as well as you're seeing prices go up in Bitcoin, you will see a drop off in the USDT dominance, indicating that money is flowing from the dollars into the crypto market. Now, last cycle, we had a very important kind of hidden divergence that was showcasing that potentially some of the momentum was going out and there was actually a quiet capital rotation happening behind the scenes. And what I mean by that is we had Bitcoin's price form a higher high, very marginally higher high, at the same time as we had a higher low in the USDT dominance. So what we were seeing is that although the price of Bitcoin was marginally higher, there was actually more money going back into stablecoins at that time. We were not continuing to trend down on the USDT dominance like you would want to see for a continuation. We're seeing a very similar pattern this cycle where we have a high and then a marginally higher high at the same time as we're printing a higher low on this USDT dominance. We've been in a macro downtrend on the USDT dominance for quite some time, and we just printed a macro higher low while Bitcoin is marginally higher. A very similar thing happening. Another similar effect here showing us the interest or the momentum is potentially waning from the market is the fear and greed. We've all been waiting for this very excited, greedy time to happen, just like we saw last cycle. Last cycle, we actually had that extreme greed happen on that first peak. And then by the time we got over here where prices were marginally higher, we were seeing a waning in the greed. The greed was actually less at that point. Another hidden divergence indicating that the interest and momentum was waning from the market. Seeing a very similar thing happen. If you remember the inauguration, that was a very euphoric time. We had fart coin, we had the Trump meme coin, crypto president. It was a very exciting time in the market. And now we have higher prices for Bitcoin, and the greed just isn't there. The interest isn't there. We're actually even seeing some extreme fear at this time. So I wanted to hop on and show these two hidden divergences because for me, I was unaware at the time, but I jumped into crypto when basically at the very peak, November 2021. I made a little bit of money, got very excited about investing, dumped in my life savings and lost everything in the bear market. Luckily, I studied the charts since and have been profitable ever since and used this bull market to, you know, generate even more capital than what I had lost. However, it was a very rough ride, a very painful lesson, and that's exactly why I started crypto education is for this exact reason because I want to help people while there is insane opportunity in these markets and yes, life-changing opportunities. I don't want to see anybody go through what I went through. I don't want to see anybody get very excited when the odds are possibly not in our favor. So I want to showcase the odds as we progress in a bull market, as well as the risk to reward. So as you can see at these lower prices here, if we do a purely risk to reward, and I'm going to project this to 130. I've shown several times on the channel how to use the market's move to project future moves. But anyway, 130 is a very was a very high probability target for this bull run. We haven't quite hit it, but you can see we've gotten pretty close. So I'm just going to use that as the risk to reward target for this bull market. And as you can see, buying this first dip, odds are well in your favor because you basically are forming higher lows and coming out of this accumulation zone, as well as the risk to reward is more favorable. As we go up in the bull market, the chances get a little bit less and less. You can see that we are getting closer and closer to a coin flip, as well as every dip, the risk and reward gets skewed. So the reason I want to make this video now too is to showcase that the risk to reward for this trade, not saying that Bitcoin can't go higher than this, but let's just keep that same target rather than trying to keep moving the goalpost ahead of us. You can see that the risk to reward right now is less favorable. And the odds right now are basically a coin flip. I've talked about a lot of the bullish potential left in these markets. We've talked about expanding global liquidity and the global business cycle and the business cycle, all of these things also kind of hidden as far as the potential for further upside while everybody is uncertain. It's basically a coin toss. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is right now it's basically a coin toss. So what do you do? What do you do when the potential for the most gains could be ahead of you? About 80% of the gains happen in the last 20% of the cycle. What do you do if you don't want to miss out on that? But also you don't want to be fully allocated at the top. You would like to be most allocated when the risk to reward is favorable and then scale out as you go. So something that I did last weekend is I realized that I was much too allocated at these levels, which is why I was getting stressed out and losing a lot of sleep. And so I rebalanced my portfolio. I made some adjustments so that I could live with both sides of the market. If we go ripping from here, I can always jump back in the market. I can put more capital back to use. If we go down from here, then I preserve my capital and live another day. Perhaps I start shorting the market if that's the direction that we're going. So the reason I wanted to make this video is to help you understand that yes, both of these things are possible, but the odds right now are about 50-50. 50-50, we go up, we go down. The market has to continue showing its hand, but there are these hidden divergences telling us that we do have the potential to see things start to roll over in a larger way. And we just need to be prepared and okay with either outcome. The other thing I wanted to showcase here, I don't use these a lot as far as a trading signal, but it is interesting to watch how markets behave in similar ways. So I basically just took a bar pattern from the first peak basically to the bear market lows over here, and let's just project that off of, oops, excuse me, off of this peak right here, and we're going to follow and see actually how closely the shape of this market is acting. So it's basically following it almost tick for tick. I mean, nothing ever matches perfectly, but you can see we were getting lower highs, lower lows. We're forming a higher high and a higher low in this region, forming a higher high, and then we're bleeding down. So I'm gonna use this bar pattern to kind of keep track and see if we follow a similar shape, because there's other cycle projections projecting that November and December are actually quite powerful, quite strong. That's what everybody's been waiting for. And if everybody thinks that Q4 is going to be strong, everybody's going to be holding out for this massive blow off top. What if it doesn't come? What if we did see the peak euphoria back here in the inauguration when we had all of that insane hype? What if that was same as before in the previous cycle where you actually had the extreme greed in the first peak, right? And this was almost a complacency bounce, like a higher complacency bounce, but still complacency all the same. So the other thing I want to just a last final thoughts is we all have the tendency to go onto YouTube, go onto X, and try to confirm our biases. And there's a lot of people right now that are very confident in buying the dip right now. And the reason I think for that is because bull markets make you think like you're really smart. If you've made money in this bull market, you just think you're really smart. You're smarter than everybody else. If you were able to hold through some of these times that were not easy to hold, if you were able to do that and then you make more money and it goes in your favor, all of a sudden you start thinking you're a genius and everybody should start listening to you. And there's all these reasons why the market has to go up, and now all of a sudden you're a macro expert and you just have it all figured out. And those are the kind of people that you want to follow. You want to follow the people that are going to tell you for certain the market is going up. I'm going to tell you when it's going up. I'm going to tell you what date, and then I'll be able to make my millions and live happily ever after. I like to do things a little bit differently on this channel. While I like to let the market do the talking, and I like to see what I can do to become a steward and study the markets every day to get a better read on what are the probabilities, what are the potentials. So I really appreciate it. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Please leave a comment down below, some constructive criticism. I'm going to leave it here for this video because it's just something that is near and dear to my heart, because I got in at the very top. And if we are seeing a similar situation now. I don't want anybody to get wrecked. And there's plenty of opportunity ahead of us. Every day there's opportunity in these markets up or down. And so you definitely want to get your mindset to, if we go down from here, I'm prepared and there's opportunity ahead. If we go up from here, great. I've managed my risk properly and there's opportunity ahead. So there's always opportunity ahead. And that's what I like to do on this channel. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, stay rebellious, my friends.